Welcome to Church Jams Now, the podcast where three former youth group kids and current music nerds deep dive into Christian music from the 90s and 2000s. I, of course, am your co-host, Kylan Savage, and with me, as always, is Mr. TJ Smith.
Oh, I've had such a rough weekend. Weekend. Sorry, guys.
I love it. Starting off strong. And, of course, beautiful producer Josh.
Hey, guys. I'm here. I'm a beautiful producer, but remember, I'm only a man.
You are. You're only a man, Josh.
I'm only a man.
Well, so my question is, what are we doing today? It's a little bit different than usual. I had to get one in, too. I tried. It wasn't as smooth as y'all's.
Kylan, on this show,
I liked it.
We do what we want, you know?
Yeah,
this
that's
is our
right.
podcast.
And whether the seas are shallow or deep, you know, we sail through them.
Yeah.
It's just what we do.
You know,
on this
Kylan's
podcast.
bundled up in his creepy murder basement in 3-degree weather, but I want him to
That's
know
true.
that you were never alone, Kylan.
Thank you. It is so cold I could see my breath.
It's true, man.
It's currently
We can all see your
3
breath.
degrees, 3 degrees in Bella Vista, Arkansas.
Woof.
But I just got my new murder basement set up, brightened up with my new pink desk and my VHS.
It's a
all
lot
set
less
up.
murdery now.
I
have
know
to
the
say.
pink adds a lot.
It does. Yeah.
The VHS collection, too, I don't think that's a murder trope, is it?
I mean,
Maybe.
it's becoming
but
one now because it's like.
well,
because
there's
there's
a whole
vibes.
series of VHS
Oh.
is like a series of horror movies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But we can get into that when we do horror jams now.
Right.
It's true.
That's a different podcast.
Yeah, that I totally just need to start. So we're doing something different, guys. And if we feel a little loose, you know what? This has the same vibe as a Patreon episode, right?
Yeah.
Like this
Which
doesn't
I am
have main
very
feed
into.
energy, which I love. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I hope people dig this, and maybe they'll go check out our Patreon because this is definitely more along the lines of what it's like.
Mm-hmm.
Just 3 chill dudes chilling in
They're very chilly.
very chilly. 3
Areas.
very chilling dudes chilling.
Chilling.
Church jams now. Chill jams now.
So, yeah, it's a new year, and we're trying to maybe experiment with format a little bit because listeners of this show will know that our shows are usually 1,000 hours long.
That's a technical term. 1,000 hours.
Yep.
Exactly.
You can basically get your Malcolm Gladwell. You can become an expert in church jams now within like 4 episodes. Or
Yep.
whatever.
True. It is true.
Happens. The time flies, you know?
Yeah. So we're trying something a little different, and I'm actually going to kick it over to beautiful producer Josh because I know this is kind of your baby.
Yeah.
This is
Little passion
so if
project.
this fails miserably, it's going to be 100%
It's all on
your
True.
Twitch.
It's all on me. I will
That's
accept
right.
full responsibility.
So tell us, or tell the listeners kind of what we're doing because this is a type of episode that we're going to be doing a lot more of this year.
That's true. We have more plans. So you're listening to the inaugural episode of our Bop 10 series, where we're going to inaugural. Yes,
Inaugurable.
You have to be If you're not inaugurable, you cannot be inaugurated.
Inaugurated.
Yeah, it makes total sense.
This is Patreon energy. This is so off the
Can we
rails.
do
really
can we
is.
do like a little like delay reverb on it? Like a new segment. Bop 10.
Yes.
Just throw a bunch
Perfect.
of delay
Hey, I'll add it.
and
Yeah,
verb
yeah.
on that. Perfect.
Yes.
Great.
Thank you, TJ. Thank you for
Yeah.
that wonderful introduction.
I need it to be cinematic and theatrical and over the top, especially considering the artist we're covering. But we'll get into that.
Yes,
For sure.
that's
Josh, sorry.
true.
Go ahead.
That's true. Yeah. So this is born out of Kylan and I's just tendency to just ask each other a random artist and say, "Hey, work on your top tens, and then let's just go through them." You know,
Let's talk about
of said artists. And sometimes it'll just be a list. Sometimes it'll take us days because we'll go song by song and tell each other what we love about them. And so we decided to kind of expand this into Church Jams Now to give us a shorter form episode, which will be nice for us and hopefully nice for the listener as well. And I have to give credit to your wife because we stole the name from her.
That's
I
true.
think she originally coined Bop 10.
Bop 10. And
Yep.
she actually, listeners, don't check this out because it doesn't lead anywhere yet, but she bought the domain name Bop 10
Oh, nice.
because
Thanks,
we're going to
Jen.
make it a depository for us and our friends and potentially, hopefully, open it up to people to be able to build their own sort of top 10 lists that we can like cross-reference and stuff.
Yeah.
Be pretty cool.
It will be pretty cool. So thanks, Jen. Thanks for letting us steal that from you.
She doesn't listen. She doesn't listen to the show, so
I'll certainly be the first one to upload all of my lists
I know.
that I've been
TJ,
meticulously
I know.
keeping.
Well, and that was the other fun part about it is that TJ hates lists. So then Kylan and I were like, what if we made a new show or a new episode format where we just make TJ make a list once a month?
I knew y'all were
TJ, we've been a little too nice to you in terms of the guests and albums we've covered recently. Like, we haven't given you...
Is that what it is?
We haven't given you a Mercy Me in a while. We
so
haven't...
This is your revenge.
This
is how you're balancing the karmic scales.
On the show. Yeah, you got to talk to me about, like, metaphysical... Like
this is one for
construction.
us. True, I did. That was delightful. Thank you, Matt.
Oh, that episode hasn't come out yet. Whoops.
Well, it'll come out.
Look forward to next week's episode.
Yeah. That's a good teaser, though.
Spoiler.
That is a good teaser. Yeah, I like that.
Me too.
Sweet. So, Kylan, what's the order of how we're going to do this?
Okay, so what I think we're going to do is we're going to talk about our top 10 list, but we did this format on our last Patreon episode in which we talked about our top 10 records of 2023. And what I think will be the most interesting way to do it is if we each go around and do, like, rather than doing like each of us doing number 10 and then talking about it, number 9, number 8, or each of us just blasting through our list, I think each of us will go through and do our 10 through 4 and kind of talk about it, and we can comment on it. But then when we get to the top 3, we'll each go in a round and really discuss it. Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. We'll see if it works, if it's a format that people resonate with. I would like to say, as early up top as possible, we super want to know your top 10 lists as well. So whenever we release an episode like this, like, feel free, please just comment, just tell us this is the kind of stuff we love to talk about.
Any episode we drop that's a Bop 10 episode, it's just take it as an invitation to share your list.
And then so after this, Josh, too, aren't you going to do a little math wizardry?
I will. I have a handy dandy little spreadsheet here where I'm going to put in all of our song rankings. I've already put in mine, so I know the rankings for those. But each ranking will have a point attribute to it, 1 through 10, and we will use that to mathematically and unequivocally determine our official CJN Bop 10 of our collective Bop 10.
For now, as of right now, I feel like for TJ, I always have to give you this disclaimer because lists are variable, much like our life experiences, and are completely subject to change.
Yeah, the whole thing is nebulous.
Much
as
like a song
episode
is a time capsule, so are our lists.
Indeed.
Yeah. Of course. So that'll be something after we've all done all our lists. I'll compile those and then we'll present them. And we might be able to like post them on social or something like that.
I love that. Yeah. Okay. Well, shall we begin?
I'm down.
Okay. I'm going to go first, guys. I'm going to go through my 10 through 4. So my number 10 favorite. Oh, wait. Did we talk about that? We didn't talk about that. We're talking about Emery.
Oh, I guess we didn't. Yeah, we were introducing.
We hinted at it so much. We dropped so many puns and hints that we forgot to actually say.
And it's like going to be the episode title, like people. But
yeah, you guys know already.
We're talking about our top 10 favorite Emery songs. Number 10, Studying Politics.
A classic.
Yeah, that's a big one, right? That's a big one for Emery fans.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
So it had to make my list. It's a good song. I don't have much to say about it. So I'm going to move on to my number 9, which was a surprising one for me, but one that I really, really, really connect with and resonate with. Jesus Wept from Eve.
Ooh.
I'm curious. I don't know how Eve ranks for you guys in terms of Emery, because I know it's later.
Yeah,
Emery.
2018.
Mm-hmm.
I like that record a lot. My hot take is, I think Jesus Wept is the second song on that record, right? Because that flows. Is it the third?
Third.
Okay. Whatever, the second and third song are basically like the same song, but they split them up. And I'm like, if you guys would have just kept them the same song, it'd been my favorite song on the whole record. But they like split them up, so I couldn't like pick either one. But Jesus Wept is great.
I like Jesus Wept because it's under 2 minutes.
That's true. That's fair.
In classic Kylan fashion.
Yeah. TJ, have you listened to Eve? much?
Not a single song.
I think you should, man. I think you would like it. It took me a while to connect with it because I was kind of out on Emery for a while. You know,
That's
like
that's the the secret, the terrible
Right.
secret.
Nice. Very nice.
The weakest part of this podcast is the fact that I kind of just dipped out on them
Right.
wholesale.
No,
for
I did
a long
too.
time.
I honestly really did too until Eve came out and it had a lady's butt on the cover. And I was like, okay. All right, Emery. Let's check you
right,
out. Let's see
you.
what you've been up to. I was like, oh, okay. All right, cool.
Yeah. Which I will say that in no way at all takes away from your Bop 10 TJ. Like, 'cause I think we'll definitely have artists where it's like, even if an artist that you like you listen to their whole catalog, there may just be 1, 2, or even 3 albums that you house all their favorite songs that your list is centric to, and I think that's
sure.
totally fine.
Well, and not to diatribe in the middle of your list here, Kylan, but I'm gonna do exactly that. I like the idea. Like, I really appreciate that y'all have helped me see that lists are just a little point in time and
Yeah.
their time capsule, because I like the idea that in 5 years I will have gone through more of Emery's discography, and we can maybe return to our list and I can recontextualize that based on the fact that at that point I'll be way more familiar with the rest of their work.
Yeah.
The body of work that I have to draw from is smaller probably than either of the two of you. But I also just
I like
want it
how
to be
optimistic
authentic.
you are that we're going to be doing this podcast in 5 years.
Yeah, that's the version of life that I see
Good,
for
me
myself in the next 5 years. So, but yeah, I could have been very like technically correct, but not like authentically sort of true to myself. And I could have been like, I could have dug through their whole discography in this last week.
Yeah,
And
but-
been like,
but it
what
doesn't have to
song
be
do I
that.
think is really cool? But I really wanted to just kind of pull from
Yeah,
their
what
work
stuff
that I
you go
knew
back to. Yeah,
meant
yeah.
something to me.
That's
So-
honestly like, you know, I think that's why lists appeal to me in particular, is because it is that kind of left brain, right brain, at least the way I look at it, because it is like an analytical kind of
Sure.
quantitative thing.
Right.
But yeah, the way I look at it is this is just how I feel in this moment. And it's a way to kind of organize those thoughts and feelings about a particular artist's work
Right. At that
in this
point
particular
time.
time. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice. This is a great conversation. 2 songs in.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
But it's very
okay.
interesting. I like
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
Number 8 is Scissors.
Ooh.
What album
we do
is
what
that
we
on?
want.
We
Entry.
do what we want. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This is another one. Okay, so when this came out, I also was not into Emery, like at all.
Mm.
But I listened to this record. It was like right when like I really started using Spotify. I listened to it, did not like it. I was not feeling it. I was like, okay, yeah, it's fine that I dropped off from this band. But for some reason, Scissors just like really stuck out to me. Cause well, Josh, like we were doing, like were we doing Del Sur?
Yeah,
in
that was
2011.
during the Del Sur days.
So like I was feeling like really heavy music, and I was like, oh, this is like way heavier than I remember Emery being.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Nice.
Oh, why
That's
is
a
that
good
not
one.
playing? I was
Do
gonna
we
play
do we
it. I
think
trying
that
to
was their
play it.
heaviest album?
I would say definitely.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean,
That's
it was
cool.
released on. It was co-released on Solid State, so
Mm.
they like went in on the heaviness for it
Fully. Nice.
fully.
That's cool.
Well, I was trying to play a clip of it, but doesn't matter. Okay, then we have Walls.
Classic.
Oh.
Walls was that was my intro to Emery. I think for a
Mhm.
lot of people it was.
Yep.
So I had to make the list, but I got it kind of lower down. That's number 7.
That's
Right.
something I'm always curious about when we do our top 10s is
Mhm.
where the big songs will fall, if they even fall on our list. Like we did our
Right.
top 10 Death Cab on Patreon, and I Will Follow You Into the Dark was not on any of our lists.
Oh, yeah.
So I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
when I love when we cover a new artist. I'm like, ooh, where will the big popular song fall if it does fall on our list?
Yep.
If it even lands, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of big songs, number 6 is the Ponytail Parades.
Mm.
Oh.
I will only say Those are properly ranked, Kylan.
Okay, good. Like they were introductory, right? Like they were really big for a time. I don't super resonate with that record anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even for like nostalgia, I'll go back to The Question way more than I'll go back to The Week's End.
Week's End, yeah.
But yeah, I like Ponytail Parades more than Walls. Then, okay, moving on. Number 5, Rock and Rule.
Ooh.
Okay.
Love that.
Yeah.
The first I'm Only a Man entry as well, to note.
Not the only one.
Ooh,
I will also note.
Love to hear that.
I'm a big I'm Only a Man fan. We've talked about that on
I think
the show.
we all are. Is TJ?
Yeah, I think.
I
Maybe.
like it.
Okay.
It's not huge for me at present, but
I feel like Josh
I
and
do
I
like
are
that
more
record.
I'm Only a Man apologists than most Emery
Yeah.
fans.
I think most Emery fans have come around on it, been like, you know what, we were pretty hard on that record.
Yeah.
Well, unnecessarily.
yeah, I think it's a cool album.
Yeah.
I'm glad it exists.
Sweet. Okay, and then my number 4 is In Shallow Seas We Sail.
A
That's a great song.
Great song from a great record.
top-
Title track of a great record.
Yeah, that's true. Although I think I do have a question.
Do you have the question?
I don't have
That's
the question.
Where were you when I was ranking my Bop 10 Emery songs?
Here on this podcast with you.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. I just really, wanted to know about your list, Josh.
Yeah.
So
Thanks for showing up, TJ.
So
Appreciate
did
it.
In
You got
Shallow
it, man.
Seas We Sail and While Broken Hearts Prevail, did they come out at the same time?
No. Well,
think it
Broken Hearts
was-
Prevail came out October of 2008, while In
There you
Shallow
go.
Sea, which preceded
next
In
year,
Shallow
right?
Seas We Sail in June of 2009.
yeah.
Okay, because here's the thing. I don't think I've really listened to much of In Shallow Seas We Sail. But
How's
that
even
song...
possible? That song's not on While Broken Hearts Prevail.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, you're right. But yeah, I like it. That's my number 4. That's my 10 through 4. TJ, what about you?
Excellent.
Right on,
Josh,
man.
you get that in your spreadsheet?
Oh, I got him, man. I'm tracking these points.
Nice.
Perfect.
Beautiful
All
producer.
right, what you got, TJ?
It's going to become very evident how
It's
Limited.
just only going to be the question.
my discography knowledge or not knowledge actually, because I'll give some context. So I was fully into Emery at the release of The Week's End. Loved The Question. I'm Only a Man. I was a fan of it, but wasn't huge on it. While Broken Hearts Prevail, I enjoyed. I kind of didn't listen to In Shallow Seas We Sail, and then pretty much after that, I was like out.
Yeah, you were out after that point.
Mm-hmm.
That's honestly later than I expected from you. I expected
Mhm.
you to be like, I'm Only Man, or even earlier. You were out.
Yeah.
by-
Yeah, I had like a weird kind of like moment where I was like circling back to a lot of that kind of harder stuff and Tooth and Nail adjacent stuff in 2008, and so I think that's why In Shallow Seas was like, no, I wasn't really listening to them as a band anymore. But yeah, so with that said, and I kind of like the poetry of this, but number 10 is The Weakest from The Question.
Ooh,
Okay.
So that kind of
appropriate.
fits.
I was looking
Um,
back through my notes. I think I said that song is the weakest on the record.
Yeah, so I really like it because I think it's a beautiful arrangement. I think the
Yeah.
song is well arranged, and I think it's a great showcase of Toby and Devin's vocals.
For sure.
I think it's like them trying to write a softer song,
Right.
but still, something upbeat, but like a little more, I don't know, leaning into a little more of their songwriting that's not just like heavy,
sure.
heavy. So I kind of appreciated that, and I wanted to include a song that showcased that
that makes sense.
quality of theirs, and again with the limited discography I've got to
Sure.
pull from.
I like
sure.
that
Well-
one because that's where Toby goes, wait.
Yes, I don't
Well,
want to sing.
I realized. So my only note for that song was this song might be the weakest. That's actually not true. That chorus is so tight.
Yeah, it is a good chorus. So yeah, number 10. 9, In a Win-Win Situation.
Ooh.
I think it's an awesome album closer. It's very like, for any jammers that haven't listened to this episode, go back and listen to our episode on The Question.
Maybe. I don't know how I feel about it.
We
being out
use
in the
the
wild.
word cinematic and theatrical about 1,000 times.
Yeah. Well,
So
we envisioned a Broadway musical version
yes, we
of
sure
the
did.
question.
And I think that track is like the poster child for that idea.
Yeah.
It's very theatrical, and it's just I think it's a strong album closer.
Yeah. And I
So
love like the little hidden track at the end of it too. Like
yeah,
so good.
it's very fun.
Great way to close the record.
Yeah. So I liked it for that reason. Number 8, The Secret on the Week's End. I think it's like a longer song, and so I think it was me figuring out like, oh, these guys are like, even though I didn't have words to articulate it at the time, it was me sort of hooking into on a subconscious level the fact that they're like theater musical nerds that want to write ballads that take you somewhere as a listener. And it's kind of shreddy, like it goes hard.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's one of two. I'll just go ahead and say it's one of 2 tracks on the Week's End
Oh,
that feature on my list.
man.
Okay.
7 after The Secret is The Terrible Secret.
Oh.
It only gets worse from here.
Exactly. Yeah. A track from the question. I just think it's a solid song. Don't really have much to say about it. I just like it. I feel like track 7 or choice number 7. Number 7 is like it doesn't have to have a lot of justification. It's just number 7.
It could go either way, you know, up or down,
Yep.
but it's a good place for it at number
Yeah,
7.
I get that.
Yeah.
That's usually a good number 7 justification.
Yeah, no justification
It's
at
like
all.
it deserves to be on the list. I can't really explain why
Can't
it's not
say
lower
why.
or higher. It's just
Yep.
it's got to be there. Yeah.
Yep. As if I needed an alibi for this one. Number 6, Left with Alibis and Lying Eyes.
Oh wow.
Another
you've
track
had-
from the question.
Okay. All right.
Yep. I just think it's moody and
Yeah.
great, but it also goes hard at certain points. Number 5, So Cold I Could See My Breath. Just like Kylan right now.
Ooh.
In his cold, cold murder basement. Yeah.
That's such a good album opener.
I mean, it's awesome. Yeah, it's a great opener. I think it makes the list in a big way as a nostalgia bop somewhat, just because as soon as you hear that guitar, you know what's going on. Like, you know where you're at, you know what's happening, and it just pulls you right back. So, number 5. And then another track from the question, Misbehavin'.
Ooh,
Yeah.
kind of a later
Okay.
track, kind of a deep cut.
Mm-hmm.
Track
I just
7.
really like that mandolin featuring on it. I love the time change, the vocal round. I just think there's a lot of
Yeah. Well, and we talked about it in the
substance.
episode, but I've always loved how the guitars stay on the same chord while the bass ascends this like
Moves, yes.
like just
Yep.
gets higher and higher, and I love
Yep.
that.
Yeah. There's just a lot of interesting stuff going on
Yeah.
that track. And it feels like this very like frenetic, angsty song, but it's also super thoughtful in the way of songwriting and arrangement. So, yeah, I don't know. Misbehaving.
Sweet.
Number 4.
Wow.
That's
I
my
love
10
it.
through 4.
Sweet. Well, the CJN Bop 10 is looking pretty cool right now. I can't wait for the heavy hitters.
All right.
3 through 1.
All right.
Mhm.
All right. So Josh, get us there. Get us your 10 through 4.
All right. Happy to do so. All right. So first one, I'm going with Always Depends, which is off of While Broken Hearts Prevail.
Oh wow.
Fun facts, this is one of the oldest Emery songs. They re-recorded it for this EP, and there's a really terrible homemade music video they made when they were
nice.
just like babies, and Devin was like the drummer at the time, so he's playing drums
Yeah.
for it. But I don't know, it's one of their earlier songs, but I still think it's great. Like it has all the classic. Maybe they touched it up a little bit when they re-recorded it, but it just has like all the classic Emery that we would come to know and love about it. And
Nice.
it's from an EP that I love and I wish more bands would do.
Yeah.
And overall, I will say as we get into Pop 10, I try to grab from as much of like an artist's catalog as is applicable to kind of make a
For sure.
well-rounded list. But sometimes that doesn't always win out. So that's like my entry for this. So
Love that.
yeah.
Good to know.
Number 9 is Studying Politics.
Okay.
Obligatory, the question song. Also the first full Emery song I heard. And I mean, I saw them play it last month and it still rips live. So
Oh, I'm sure it does.
oh yeah. So it's just a classic. What more can we say?
What if even though it was my number 10 and your number 9, based on your point system, is that going to make it number 1 on the objective CJN best Emery songs?
No, because that only gives it 3 points right now, unless TJ ranks it higher, which he can. Which I was gonna say I may be going a little rogue. I may skew some of our official rankings with some of my how hipster I get with my stuff here.
Okay.
But yeah, so if TJ has it in his top 3, that will definitely shoot it up to the top.
That would just be so interesting. Yeah.
We have the power. It's democratic, though. We all have the same power. Number 8, I'm going the Ponytail Parades, Kylan.
Nice.
There we go.
So I know everyone loves Walls, but this is the song that I want to hear the most when Emery plays from the week's end. Because I know they're going to play Walls. But I'm
For
like,
sure.
I also would like to hear Ponytail Parades as well. So just a great song.
The thing is, I don't think I got to be in the right mood for the screaming on Walls. Because I feel like they hadn't quite figured it out. It's still very much like debut album screaming. You know what I mean? So, yeah, Ponytail Parades.
For sure,
is a
for
little
sure.
better for me. Okay.
TJ, I was very excited to hear this on your list because I also have, as number 7 on mine, Left with Alibis and Lying Eyes.
Cool. Nice.
So I will say I had kind of a hard time picking songs from the question to pick for this. Like, it's easy for me to just experience the question as a whole.
Right.
But on like lesser albums, it's easy to pick songs like, oh, this is my favorite
Specific.
here and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
on an
Sure.
album like The Question, it's just hard for me. But this is one that's always been one of my faves.
Stuck out. Yep.
Yeah, always been one of my faves. And I have like, I think I talked about it. I had some friends that kind of did this exact thing where they kind of tried to run away to Canada. So it was like kind of funny to be like, this song is kind of about them. So, yeah.
I love it.
Okay, number 6, I'm going with The Butcher's Mouth from In Shallow Seas We Sail.
There we go.
It's a great song. I think I mentioned this, but they also filmed the music video at the Austin show I went to, which was my first Emery show in 2009.
Oh, nice.
So despite kind of battling some heat exposure and not being in the music video accordingly, it was still a great time. So this album came out like the summer I graduated, so I was like spinning it all the time, and I got to see them later that summer, so it was just pretty perfect. And I do have a fun fact about this song, is that the song was originally going to be titled I've Got Away, but Tooth and Nail made them change it to The Butcher's Mouth because they didn't want people to mishear Toby and think that he says in the verse, I want to hear it from the bitch's mouth. So they made them call it The Butcher's Mouth just to make it perfectly clear.
Really plain.
That's what Toby's saying. Yep.
Do you think he ever intentionally says from the bitch's mouth now when they do it live?
Maybe if they do, yeah. I just heard them play it, but I don't think I caught it. Yeah. Ironically, they're back on Tooth and Nail again, so maybe they can't do it. Yeah. I don't think they care anymore. All right, so my number 5 is the first time this record is being brought up, but I'm going at Pink Slip from You Were Never Alone, which is my favorite track from this record, which has some certified bangers on it.
I don't know this record at all.
It's pretty good. It's really good. It's kind of their first one that Devin he wasn't fully in the band again, but he recorded vocal parts, so he's like back on the record.
Okay.
But he wasn't I don't think he was contributing songs at all. But this song has like the intro just alternates between 5/6 and 6/8. So it's got some crazy time signatures. Yeah. It has some amazing layered vocals here, which I'm a fan of. I think in the bridge Toby has 3 different vocal tracks going at one time. But I'm here for it. I also said I don't know if Emery albums just came out at big points in my life, or if a new Emery album made it a big point in my life. But this was like another one. This came out like In Shallow Seas came out the summer I graduated high school. This came out like the summer I graduated college and like my master's. So I was like done with college. So like I just remember having such great memories of like listening to this driving home every day. Like when I didn't live on campus.
So you're saying you don't know if that was a big time in your life because you
No,
got your
I
master's
do.
or because
I
there was
do.
an Emery album?
I do. No, it's just a joke that they just coincide with like
Kylan,
big life
I mean,
points. But I'm like,
Emery's
maybe
a big
Emery
deal,
is
man.
determining
I
the
know.
life points in my
I know
life.
that. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, I mean, who cares about a master's? But
Exactly.
We all care
Yeah,
about
who
a new
cares about
Emery
a
record.
master's degree? Because the new
Right.
Emery record came out, guys. Their first one in
Exactly.
4 years at that point. It was great. I was
It could have
stoked.
been
Devin was
either
back
of
in the
those
band.
things.
Yeah,
We don't know.
that's true.
Who can say?
Yep. And my last one in my 10 through 4 is another one from We Do What We Want. I'm not here for rage. I'm here for revenge,
That is a good song.
which I have many reasons for loving. First and foremost, it's a George Costanza quote from Seinfeld when he goes to anger management.
not know that.
Yep, to try to get James Spader to apologize to him, I think, if I'm correct in.
Oh, right.
This one kind of has like it just has so many different the intro is so heavy, and then it has like heavy but melodic verses that are kind of doing the cliche like Warped Tour chug verses. But I feel like Emery doing it the one time is like totally passable and makes it fun.
Right.
And then the choruses are super poppy. And then at the end, they have a guitar solo, which is like a harmonized guitar solo, which the first time I heard it, I was like, Emery's doing a guitar solo. But I found out later it's not Emery. They actually got JB Brubaker from August Burns Red.
Oh,
And
nice.
he recorded it and just sent it. Matt's like, hey, you could put in a part here if you want. And he recorded it and sent it to Matt, and he put it in. So it's actually JB from
That's cool.
August Burns Red.
They
But there's just like,
outsourced that stuff.
they
man.
did. And there's just like pick slides over, and it's like, it's kind of ridiculous, but in
kinda
like a
over the
really
top.
fun way. Yeah. And
Nice.
it's a George Costanza
That's
quote
awesome.
to
Yeah.
top it all off. Like, perfect.
That's
I
great.
love
That's
that.
a good 10 through 4.
Yeah.
I think I'm unfamiliar with about half of it.
Yeah, I
but-
feel like I was going real hipster on some of these.
Yeah.
I haven't even got to my most
you're
hipster
not going
yet.
hipster. You're just
Well-
you're an actual Emery fan. I'm not saying
You're a
that
true
TJ and
fan,
I
yeah.
aren't Emery fans, but yeah, our scope is a lot more limited
Yes,
than
exactly.
yours.
Well
That's
said.
true. That's true.
And Josh, I'm here for it, man. It makes
Yeah.
me excited for like this is like sort of whetting my appetite for when we cover these albums.
Right.
Like hearing these little anecdotes about what makes these songs on these albums so great. It's like I can't wait to dive into them when we cover them in full, you know.
That's the beauty of this podcast.
That
TJ.
is the
beauty of
this
it.
podcast.
Man.
So I don't know how this is going to end up, but I have a feeling, Josh, you don't have to comment on this specifically, but this just seems like a statement that Josh would also think about. But do I have in our collective 10 through 4, do I have the latest released Emery song?
You do, actually. Yeah.
Yeah,
oh right.
Mhm.
because I have a
With
song
Jesus
from
Wept.
Eve. Yeah.
2018.
Eve.
You do.
Gotcha.
You do this time.
That just seems like something Josh would say on the show. So I wanted to get
No,
to,
way
it to
to-
see
way
if
to
he was
call it
proud of me.
Flexing
with
your
that.
Josh
Yeah,
energy.
I am proud of you for
Thank you.
bringing attention to that, Kylan.
Yeah.
All right. I'm ready, guys. Are you all ready?
Okay. I'm ready as all Emery.
Oh,
That's how the ad starts.
that was so bad. Good.
It so was.
I like
Just which perfectly transitions me to talk about, guys. Our sponsor today is the one, the only Collide Records. You've heard us talk about them on the show all the time.
Hashtag use your fingers.
Hashtag use your fingers, Collide Records. We're making it a thing. But we're talking about Emery, and you know what? They've got quite the selection of Emery items in
What do
their
they
shop.
have, Josh?
Well, they've got a lot of great stuff, and I'm kind of mad
Uh-oh.
because about 2 years ago, right before I discovered Collide Records, actually, I went in and bought all the CDs that I was missing in their catalog that I didn't have, and I'm kind of mad because they have them all here, and they're on sale,
Ooh.
and they even have an Eve CD that's autographed.
What?
No, I know. I want this autographed CD.
Yeah, it's sweet. The piece de resistance, though, if you scroll down a little bit, they have an I'm Only a Man special edition CD DVD combo
Oh, nice.
for a very affordable price. And I don't know where else you're finding this CD still new in 2024, but this CD we've talked about, we love I'm Only a Man collectively. This CD has bonus tracks on it, and I'll say the DVD is super great. It has some memorable moments that may or may not include something that I went up to Dave Powell, the drummer, the first time I saw them and asked him to sign his stick as a reference to something on this DVD that they did a little skit. So there's tons of great stuff. It's a whole making of documentary of
I
I'm Only
miss
a
when
Man.
bands did CD,
Man,
DVD
you are
combos.
telling me. I love them. And there's also a live acoustic performance of them performing acoustic songs from, at the time, just their first 3 records, which is a great selection. That is something I definitely want to call attention to. If you need that in your CD catalog,
That's really
I
cool.
would
And
hop on over to Collide Records.
And
to
guess
get it.
what?
What?
If you type in a promo code, you can get it for even cheaper than they have on the website.
What?
Whoa.
That's crazy.
What's that
Yeah.
promo code?
Church jams now.
Spell that for me.
Excuse
Caution,
me.
listeners, do not input CHCHCHCHCHCHCHURH.
Nor CH-CH-CH.
All one word.
Church
Church
jams
jams now for 20% off your first purchase. Yeah.
Use those fingers.
You could
pretty rad.
get quite the haul for 20% off all these Emery CDs. I wish I would have found this a couple years ago.
For sure. All right, let's get back to the show.
I'm ready to get back to the show, as I'll Emery.
Okay, let's do our top 3s, y'all.
Let's do
I'm gonna
it.
do my number 3. Here we go. The Smile, the Face.
Ooh. Tell me why.
So that's the first track on While Broken Hearts Prevail.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to that album when I was living in that shitty Arlington apartment with Joe and David,
Oh, yeah.
That was
where
rough.
we did the first Del Sur promo video where we just like broke a bunch of shit in a dumpster. But that song always makes me think of that time because I remember driving around in Joe's old car and he had that record and he was like, oh,
Nice.
and that was where he was like, I was like, yeah, I don't really listen to Emery anymore. He's like, oh, you gotta check this out. And that, I think I still actually have that CD in my bag of
Joe?
CDs over here. So I think it's from Joe. I'm sure it is. I'm sure I just took
all
Joe's copy.
Stole
This
Joe's
podcast
CDs.
sponsored by Joe
By
Cutler.
Joe's
By
stolen
Joe's
CD collection.
Yeah.
That's great. I love the argument of songs of like, if you were to pick one song that best encapsulates an artist and like the span of what they kind of do, I love having that discussion. And the Smile of the Face has always been my answer for that. Of like, if I were to pick one Emery song to be like, this kind of covers what Emery does.
Yeah.
I think the Smile of the Face hits on all their big touch points.
I think so. It's really good. It's just a really good song. And it reminds me of a very specific point in my life. That's my number 3. TJ, what is your
right.
number 3?
I like it. Well, you could keep smiling, Kylan, because my number 3 is Returning the Smile you have had from the
nice.
start. Another question track. Yeah, it's just so heavy on the chorus, but then like on the verse, there's those like fast punk drums, fat bass, ambient guitar, the time change.
Right.
The whole thing is there's just a lot to love about that track.
For sure.
And I do feel like it's one of the stronger ones on that album. Obviously, I'm as we've mentioned, I'm pulling from a smaller sample size,
Right.
but I think it's a cool track, and I'm curious to see how much my list would change in this hypothetical 5 years down the road
Right. Listening to
situation
more
that I
Emery.
mentioned earlier. Yeah, after having heard their whole discography, I'm curious to see
TJ,
what's
I
all-
think you would really resonate with Eve, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
they
excited
just
to check it
like
out.
Musically and I think lyrically too.
Yeah, lyrically, I think a lot. Like they, you can tell as a band, as someone that like had kind of dropped off on them, that kind of came back
right.
to see that, because so many of the bands from that era that I love purely for nostalgia. And we talked about
Right.
on the question episode, because I was looking through my notes and stuff too, how that's such a high school record, right? Like it feels like all the stories are about like high school.
Mm-hmm.
So many bands just kind of stayed in that zone. But as songwriters, like their lyrical content, I feel really aged well
They kind of evolved
with them
a little bit.
And
Nice.
and Eve, I think, did a really good job of encapsulating.
I think
that,
Eve
so.
has some of the best guitar work that Emery's ever done on
cool.
records. Like it's really, really good.
There you go. So there's 2 reasons to listen
Yeah.
to Eve.
2 great reasons.
Yeah.
Stoked.
Yep. All right, Josh,
That's
what's your number
great.
3? What's your
All
number
right.
3
I-
Emery song of all time?
I do want to
as of
also
now?
mention it's not on my list, CJ, but when I mentioned Left with Alibis, I also was like, you could also switch So Cold or Returning the Smile in that slot. I think that's my number 7 slot, which is the number 7 slot, baby.
Yeah.
That's it. Like,
that's it. I'm telling you, man, you can't really articulate it.
Yeah. It's there, but you can make a case for something else, but you're like, I'm going to put it here. It's 7. It's perfect.
Yep.
Good
well,
spot.
that's how I felt about my Death Cab list too. Like, because I was also trying to encapsulate a lot more of their discography, and 7 is like a really good flex spot of like I have to, like, this can either be number 7 or not on the list at all. Right? Like,
yep, exactly.
Perfect. All right, guys. Number 3, I'm stoked about this one. The movie song from I'm Only a Man.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
This is
I like that one.
That one almost made my list.
Yes. This is my answer for most underrated song of Emery's catalog. Like,
I love that.
One of the best songs, hidden on the back half of one of their most divisive records. Like, and I feel like it's so easily skipped over. Everyone knows the party song, but then they also did a song called The Movie Song. But everyone's like, everyone just talks about the party song. And I'm like, the movie song is great, guys.
Y'all sleeping on this one.
They really
the movie song
are.
is really good. It almost made my list.
Josh, I love that that's your number 3. That's so cool.
So good, man. The guitar riff going into the chorus of She Asks If This Is Cool. It just Matt just like throws in like a sweet little thing. And then Toby's lyrics. It's like I've said before, I could die tonight for just one kiss more. I could die tonight just for one more movie song. Listen.
Talk about cinematic, baby.
Oh, man. Yeah.
On the nose.
For sure.
Great song, everyone. Listen to the movie song, everybody.
Definitely. Well, speaking of on the nose, my number 2 is the party song.
Hey! Nice. I'm Only a Man showing up.
Yeah,
getting some big points here, guys.
Yeah. Okay. I love the party song, dude. Like, it does feel like a party to me, but it's also got that like classic Emery, like,
it's a party, but you're also stealing money from your mom's
It's also
purse.
really sad.
Yeah, it's kind of like scary a little bit.
It feels like a sequel to shoot, what's the song from The Question where he talks about, like, where they mention all the people?
Oh, listening to Freddie Mercury.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Feels like kind of a sequel.
I like that headcanon.
Or also, like, I think it also could also
fun.
like be like the same character that's in Misbehavin', or it's like a prequel
Oh,
to the
yes.
character.
Yeah. It feels once again like a cinematic continuation.
Yes.
And yeah, I just love happy songs that are secretly like really sad. And yeah, that song just like really connects with me. I love the little synth line in the beginning, the dit. Like, oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's just, like,
I do love that part. It's so silly, but like somehow so perfect.
Right.
It's a great song.
Ugh,
I love I'm Only Man.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good record.
got some apologists up in here.
Okay. Josh, your turn? Oh, wait, no, TJ.
No, it's TJ.
You're number 2.
That's me. Number 2. Well, I'm not one to do this often, but studying politics is my number 2.
Ooh, good. It
Oh,
needed
wow.
a big bump, I feel like.
Okay, it did.
Like,
Yeah,
we're gonna get
remember
some
that
hate
when
if
y'all
it
said,
didn't.
if this is on TJ's top 3?
Yeah.
Remember when y'all said that?
Yeah.
And I just
Which
sat
is
here
funny.
smiling.
Well, that's what's so funny to me is like that it's number 10 and number 9 respectively on Josh and I's lists.
Mm-hmm.
But by virtue of the fact that we've
Sample
all
size.
mentioned it, yeah, it gains that much more importance.
Yes,
Mhm.
exactly. It's just so heavy. It was the single, but it's also like what I really love about it is I think it's actually a very serious song. Like a lot of their like I'm here for a party song. I'm here for a Freddie Mercury where it's just like names on names and kind of like, oh, drama, oh, people, oh, my heart's broken. Like I'm here for all that, but I feel like something about studying politics feels very serious. It feels
Right.
very serious on the level of like inside the universe of the song itself, but
Yeah.
also like on a meta level. Like it feels like they were approaching the songwriting from a serious
A
place.
serious place. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
I
makes
don't know.
sense.
I don't know how else to
That makes sense.
articulate it, but
Yeah.
I kind of like that about it, and it grounds the song for me while also still being a banger and still just being
Right.
a classic.
Well, it's a good
Emery.
song, and it's
Yeah.
probably going to be the number 1 CJN Emery song. So
We'll see. We'll see. Is that the first one that's on all 3 of our lists? I think we've.
I
It
think
might
so.
be.
I think it's
Yeah,
the first
I
one.
think it might be.
that
Okay.
has-
There you go.
That's
Well,
great, as it should be, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good
Yeah.
song.
All right, Josh, what's your number 2?
All right, my number 2 is Churches and Serial Killers, which is my favorite song from my favorite Emery record.
Whoa.
Yeah. And so this one, as I think I may have mentioned, but like In Shallow Seas kind of like went through stages where like this was my favorite song, this was my favorite song.
Right.
So I liked them all, but then this was like later, like this was years later where like this song like really stood out to me and has been like my favorite for the last couple years. And
Okay.
yeah, I just love it. I love the chorus with Devin's Vox layered in there too, which is always something I'm here for. But then the bridge of this song is what really like puts it on top, where like Toby has like this great when he sings "You will find your sleep" or like "You will find your sleep" and what is it, something, and "You will find your sleep too," and just like the way he delivers that, it's like you can hear his like, it's very theatrical and like, but his like his breath is like, you can hear his like kind of voice quivering a little bit, and I don't know, I love the way it all comes down to that point, and then it just explodes. He just screams. So it's
cool.
It's a big highlight from that record for me. So one of my faves.
Sweet. So you got a little 1-2 punch on In Shallow Seas We Sail. Churches and Serial Killers followed by Butcher's Mouth.
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
that's true. Seems like a nice little run for you.
No, yeah, and then the 4, 5, 6, because then In Shallow Seas We Sail is 6, so it's like 4, 5, 6 is just great, but also 1, 2, 3 is great, and also 7, 8, 9 is great.
Also the whole record.
It's almost like it's your
and also
favorite
you could go
album,
first, second, or third. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, gentlemen, we're here for our number 1 Emery songs.
Let's hear it.
These are the 10-pointers out here. The big ones are coming out.
Okay. My number 1 Emery song is much like my current situation. It is so cold I can see my breath.
Oh, dude.
All right.
Yeah, it is.
Sweet. All right.
It is like a perfect album opener, and it is, I would say, 9 times out of 10 when I'm like in the mood to listen to Emery, I really want to listen to that song.
Yes, exactly. I mean, that's why it was number 5 on mine. I had it higher actually, but I just ended up kind of moving things around for different reasons. But I love that that's your number 1, dude.
Yeah, man.
That's so good.
Yeah, I was looking back at my notes from our episode. Said it's such a good album opener. The guitar tone is just perfect when the drums come in. It's so good. You got sweet, sweet bass. And it solidifies my thought that Emery is the thinking man's screamo.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
That bridge, the "My hands across your clothes," I love that moment.
Yeah, the bridge is
so
great.
much. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that solidifies it for me. My number 1 Emery song.
Great choice. A great choice.
All right,
Nice.
TJ, what about you?
Well, I guess I'm a basic because Walls is my number 1.
All right.
All
I'm
right.
glad we needed that point and bump because
I mean, it's all nostalgia. It's just kind of like that. What is the instrument or the source of that sound that happens at the beginning of that track? Do we know that?
I don't know.
Gentlemen?
But you know what? We
Because
could probably ask
I guess
Devin.
we'll probably find out pretty soon. Like
because
maybe in
I
a couple
hear
days
that in
when we
my
interview
sleep.
someone.
I hear it like anytime someone says the word Emery.
Yeah,
That is what happens in my brain.
Yeah.
And if a band can be so like sort of ubiquitous in your mind that as soon as somebody says the name, you hear a specific sound, and then you hear, "Are you listening?"
Right.
I think that track deserves the number 1 spot. If that's the one, kind of like you're saying, Kylan, like So Cold,
Right.
is that thing
yeah.
that just that's where you go.
Yeah, when someone just says, "Oh man, so I've been listening to Emery,"
And you hear
that sound
that
happens in your brain. Yeah.
So Walls is the thing that hits, and I can see the music video too. Like it's very green. There's a lot of green.
Oh yeah.
And they're just like,
It's the only Emery music video that I know.
it looks like they're like having seizures or something. Like I don't know how else to explain it, or they're being
they're
possessed
going hard
or something. And to your point earlier, I think it was you, Kylan, that said like they were still figuring out their scream sound.
Mm-hmm.
Agree, but for whatever reason, and being being more like less a metalhead and more of a Showbread fan historically, this will probably make a lot of sense. But I actually liked the sound that they attained with their scream.
Well, yeah,
on
it
that
set them
album.
apart. Like it made them very unique in a scene in a time when there was a lot of sameness.
Yes.
So that
yes.
that makes sense to me.
And Showbread did the same thing, and that was I kind of always liked that it was different, and it wasn't like pig squeals. It wasn't like it was a little. I don't know. They were just doing something a little different, and Walls just sticks out to me to this day as a very unique song.
Yeah.
The structure of it's a little weird. The synth solo on it is just strange and amazing. I don't know why it works, but it does. Even now in 2024, I don't know. It's such a strange song. I can't defend it on like a songwriting chops level or
Right.
production
You don't
level
have to.
or vocal prowess level at all.
And TJ, I'll tell you right now, there is no
But
need
for
to.
some reason, it gets the
You
number
were
one
alleviated
spot.
from that
Yeah.
requirement.
Thank you both. I appreciate you.
I absolve you from that. Yeah.
Thank
no, that
you.
totally makes sense as a number
Yeah,
one.
it just lands. I don't
Yeah.
know, but I don't know. Maybe
Excellent.
something will dethrone it down the road. You know?
5 years from now, when we're
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah, when you're going for a job interview, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
in 5 years.
Revisiting
Well, I
my
see
Bop
myself
10 Emery
revisiting
list.
my Bop 10 Emery list.
Probably ranking a track on Eve for number one
Yep,
instead of
I
Walls.
could see you doing that. Yep.
And
Yep,
they say,
for sure.
"Get out of here! I don't know
Yep.
who you are or why you wandered into this office, sir, but you need to leave now."
It's
Yep,
like,
that
hey,
makes sense.
you asked me
I'll
the
see you.
question.
Oh, there it is.
I was just studying politics. Isn't that what this job is
And
about?
they'll be like, "Are you even listening to yourself right now?"
Oh my god.
All right, Josh. It all comes down to this, man. What do you got for us?
It all does. I'm very excited that this was already brought up on a list. My
Ooh.
number one, I almost said number 10. My number one for 10 points is
For 10 points.
Rock and Roll.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
Dude,
It's so good.
It's
a-
so good.
It's a really good album opener.
It is.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like,
In my mind, okay, that's why I had to put it on my list because it often gets overshadowed by the party song. 'Cause
Sure,
I'll
yes.
usually just skip right to the party song. And then I was like,
Right.
nope.
oh fuck. Rock and Roll
Rock
is
and
so
roll,
good.
man.
Don't skip
It's
it.
so good.
Roll.
It's so good.
Dude, and I feel like it kind of feels like an outlier in Emery's discography, but like, I don't know, just the way that it's, and it often overlooked because it's on I Am Only Man and right before the party song, like you said.
Right.
But I love that it has like a silly name and it has like this weird horn intro part that's like, and then they just blast into like Devin screaming at you, which I did want to note. I'm a big Toby fan when it comes to Emery, and all my songs have been Toby songs on this list. But my number one song is a Devin song.
Ooh.
Which is
All
fun,
right.
so-
I'm going to embarrass you in front of him whenever we interview him.
That's fine.
Sweet.
He's fine.
There you go.
Toby writes most of the songs anyways, but I do just want to say I can't hear this song like without being instantly transported to driving myself to school on like the last few days of my junior year, which is whenever I was getting into Emery and like
You just threw out that Relient K Christmas album.
yeah,
You're like, forget
threw
this.
it
Screw
out.
this.
And
Never mind.
I'm
Rock and
listening to
roll.
Emery now, and yeah, like just driving to school because like, and it's like May. You're like, I'm almost out of school. They're half days. I'm ready to go, and I'm like still pretty early into driving, feeling great. I feel like it's been my favorite Emery song for maybe my entire like Emery fandom. So it just, I've always loved it, and I just still always love it. And it's also another like, I don't know if you can say it's underrated if it's like an album opener, but
Right.
I think it doesn't get enough love because it's just so good.
Nice.
Yeah,
So,
I think it does because I mean already just like if you look on Spotify, streaming wise, it's got 767,000 and the party song has 3 million. It's like I think most
Whoa.
people do.
Just
skip it and go right to the party song.
or the party
So-
song's just on the playlist and
Yeah.
rock and roll got forgotten.
mhm.
But you know what? Rock and rules.
Yeah.
That's right. That's
It
right.
rocks and it rules.
And it rules.
It does. It does.
Well, guys.
I love that it was on your list, Kylan.
Oh, yeah, man. I had to make the list.
Yeah.
I love our lists. I love how varied they are. It always does
too.
get me excited. Because Josh, you've given me some homework, some Emery to listen to. And TJ, you've given me
A retrospective.
and you've given me yet another reason, like I need one, to go back and listen to The Question.
Yeah. We hated that album.
which I'm very excited for. So, Josh, do you need some time to calculate some stuff?
Yeah, if you can hold on for just a
All
second.
right, so TJ and I
Bleep,
can.
bloop, bloop, bleep.
as-
Are we gonna-
as-
Bloop, bloop.
Can we pretend to be Toby and Devin on a song? Can we pick a song to?
or can we pretend to be them on their podcast?
Okay.
Wait, are you already done for real?
It was already done, actually. I
Oh,
was making all that up.
But I mean,
Well,
are
TJ
you
really wants to-
It
listening?
updates in real time, baby.
We write 1,000 pages.
Yes.
They're torn and on the floor. Headlights hammer the windows. We're locked behind these doors.
Well, you
Hal
have an
doesn't
unfair.
even know the
You,
lyrics.
I
no,
totally
you're
missed
looking
what
at,
was
I can
happening.
see you looking at the lyrics. I can see you looking down,
It's true.
and I don't know any lyrics. I don't know the lyrics to any of my favorite songs ever.
Me neither. It's okay, but we got it. But Josh, tell us, what are the
What is
official
the
CJN stats?
definitive CJN top 10 Emery list?
Okay. Well, there's also a little bit of a cat. So obviously you can tie, but in the event of a tie, I think
Pick my
whichever song, very democratic.
Sounds fair.
In the event of
Well,
a
no,
tie,
I called it. I called
whichever
dibs.
song-
I called dibs, guys.
Oh, is
he-
that how
he
it
did
works?
just call
Why do we
dibs.
even do these lists? I'll call
Well,
dibs
no,
next
in
time.
in
You
event
need
of
to
a
call dibs.
tie. In event of a tie
dibs?
for Emery.
That's
So
the deal?
TJ,
TJ, just call all
next
time
time,
dibs. Just call all time dibs.
no, next time,
Rock, paper, scissors.
next time, TJ, you can call dibs
All right.
before we get to this point. Whoever calls
Cool.
dibs gets the tie
Got it. Okay, great. Noted.
because everything's made up anyway.
And the points don't matter.
That's true. That's
And the
true.
lists don't matter.
We will have to do some dibs deliberation, but in the event of a tie, whichever
Ooh.
song appears on multiple lists will gain a higher point, and whichever one appears on higher lists
Higher
will
on the
also gain. Yeah, will depend
Okay.
on the rankings.
Okay.
So some of this might change from our official rankings once I revisit them all, because otherwise you hear me counting them all in real time, which would be kind of boring. But I believe our tie we're tied for first place here because we have a number 1 and a number 5 on two people's lists here.
Okay.
Mm.
But I'm going to give the crown to So Cold I Could See My Breath as number 1.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
I
awesome.
love that.
Yep.
As the
that's
one
great.
who was their number one.
Yeah.
Yep. You put it up
I
there.
called
TJ's
dibs.
Number 5.
So that's crazy because
did.
yeah, your dibs worked, Kylan. Damn, I'm so mad.
Empirically,
I'm so mad that
empirically, mathematically, quantitatively,
Dibs
my
worked.
It was
dibs
also
worked.
on your list too. So I think if you would call dibs, this would
Well,
also
yeah.
have put it at number 1.
Right. Well, I was gonna say, Josh, like, is that because it was sort of a mid tier for my list and it was number 1 on Kylan's? Was that the combo?
That was the combo. Yep.
interesting. Okay.
Got
Cool.
10 points from Kylan and 6 points from you.
Okay.
Yep.
Wild.
Another
Well,
song
that's
that got
great.
10 points from me and 6 points from Kylan is Rock and Rule.
Woo!
Hey.
It's tied for first place, but we'll put that as number 2.
This is my favorite list so far.
So cool. It's just out.
working
I
out
feel
for
like
you,
I'm
isn't
winning.
it?
I feel like I'm
Yeah.
winning, and it
You
does
are,
not
bud.
matter. But this like weird little competitive part of me is
Feeling
like,
pretty
yeah,
cool
hell
right
yeah.
now.
We also
I'm the
have
true Emery fan.
we seem to have a streak going for album openers because Walls is number 3.
Oh,
Hey.
nice.
So as
Okay.
it should be. So yeah, opener
Yes.
for Question.
go.
I'm Only Man.
I mean,
and
oh
Weeks
yeah, that's
In.
great. Well, yeah, I'm a big side
like
A
that.
boy, so
Yep, that makes
that
sense.
makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
All
Nice.
right. So number 4, not tied, unequivocally number 4, Studying Politics.
Ah,
Oh,
nice.
cool.
Cool.
Yep. All right. So here's where we get into some ties here, but this one appeared on 2 lists, so it will take the coveted slot of number 5, which is Left with Alibis and Lying Eyes.
Yeah, up top, Josh.
Nice.
Yep. And then we have 2 other ones that have the same. So it's Party Song and Churches and Serial Killers.
Sweet.
All right.
Ooh.
So those are 6 and 7. You can interchange them however
Flex
you
spot.
choose. Yeah, flex spot,
Flex
baby.
spot. Yeah.
Flex
You don't need it to have
spot.
a reason.
Yeah. Okay, so our last 3 are tied in points as well, but we have, I think, only one that appeared on multiple lists. I need to update my little pivot table for next time so I can do counts as well, so I can easily sort by that as well. But number 8,
I don't know what you just said, Josh. I have no idea what you just said.
Don't
Yeah.
worry, it'll be
I didn't either,
fixed
but-
for next time.
But TJ, did you see how I just played it off? I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just thought it'd be more
Pivot-
fun to
pivot
admit that I am
tables and,
completely in the dark
Yeah, no,
here.
I have no idea.
Guys, Excel is fun.
A pivot table, right? Of course. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, you got to pivot.
Josh,
table.
I've
have
heard
you
of
seen
that.
It's a
that
rookie
trend?
mistake.
Have you seen that trend on TikTok and stuff of people speed running Excel?
Of the Excel
Yeah,
championship.
it's a whole competition now.
I know.
That's what I've.
I
I'm
know.
not that
I'm waiting to
fast.
see a Josh Olson
I'm
video.
not that
of
fast.
Oh, I
his,
need
like-
that.
No,
Yeah.
I'm mid-tier at best. So number 8, because tied for 8 points, but on 2 lists is Ponytail Parades.
Nice.
Okay,
Yep.
cool.
That's great.
And then I think we'll also do this. I think was only on one list, but it got mentioned multiple times. So we'll include as number 9, Returning the Smile You Had from the Start.
Nice.
Yeah.
Our
Yeah.
last entry, our number 10, barely made it, barely beat out the movie song. Is gonna actually it's tied with the movie song, so it could be. But we'll go with the Smile the Face.
Oh,
Nice.
cool.
Actually, it's tied for the movie. So the Smile of the Face and the movie song get tied for 10th, I guess. we
I
could
know,
say.
Josh. The movie song. I want the movie song on there. This feels like a respectable top 10 Emery list, though.
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like
Agreed.
we've got some good. I mean, we've got at least 3 I'm Only a Man songs. We've got 2 Week's End songs. We've got 2. We got 2 In Shallow Seas We Sail songs. And then the rest are just the question. So, as it should be, you know.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
it feels respectable. I feel like we wouldn't be laughed out of an Emery discussion.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
And if we do
Who knows?
get
And if we do,
laughed
fuck
out,
'em.
Josh will have to swoop in and save us because it ain't gonna be me, yo.
Yeah.
Like,
As long as we're talking about those first 3 records, you're there.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm set.
It's like we're in a win-win situation here, though,
Yep.
with
Perfect.
For sure.
ranking Emery songs.
And you won't catch me misbehaving.
It always depends, but it could go either way, whether win-win or lose-lose situation. But I think this is a win-win.
Yeah,
I think
this-
so. Okay. So we did it, y'all.
We
We
did
did it.
Our top 10, our official top 10, our Bop 10 is no longer the terrible secret.
That's true.
That didn't get on the list.
The only thing that's going through my brain right now, though, is if it's possible to mash up Misbehaving with Miss Independent by Kelly Clarkson.
100% it is.
And so I'm
you're
kind
gonna
of
do it.
stopped
You're the
paying
man for the
attention
job.
to what y'all are saying. Yeah, I'm just trying to work through in my brain.
That
if
better
that's
be the
possible.
outro to this episode. If it's not,
It might be. It
I'm
might
gonna
be.
be
We'll
mad.
see. We'll
If
see.
it can be done, it will
Cool.
be.
So, of course, as I said in the beginning, we want to know your Emery Bop 10. Please
Tell us.
comment on all the social media and stuff. Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. Do we have a LinkedIn?
yeah, get at us on LinkedIn, y'all. I can't wait
Apply
for
for Church Jams now. Apply to work at Church
that. Hey,
Jams now.
man, we'll take any interns.
That's true. We can't pay
Unpaid.
you.
Yeah.
You get to talk to us about music anytime.
Yeah, that's true.
And get us
That's-
coffee.
That's
Or sign up on Patreon at patreon.com/churchjamsnowpodcast.
there you go.
If you like content like this, we've got a lot more like it, and we're going to be beefing that up in this next year too. So also, yeah, just let us know how you feel about us switching up formats a little bit, trying some new things. We're obviously very excited about it, and we hope you are too. So from all of us here at the CJN crew, may all your favorite bands stay together, and peace out, Mon Frères.